Alrighty guys, so in today's episode, we're going to be breaking down airline stocks, travel stocks, cruise lines, and then I'm going to be giving you guys my top stocks for next week. So I hope you guys enjoy it, and if you guys get anything in value, hit that like button. It really helps me out. So let's jump into it. That's starting off with Delta Air, ticker symbol DAL. Now, before this whole recession hit, we had a nice little upward trend, highs at $62, and then we had this nasty sell-off, really sold off from the highs a lot. It fell around 76%, 68%, and around 70% from the highs to the lows. So now, when something falls that much in value, a lot of people would like to say, well, Carter, there's so much opportunity with this stock. It fell, things are going to pass by, and then this company is going to be back up to $60, and I'm going to have a 70% return, Carter. Just buy this company. Well, let me ask you a question real quick. Now, if that's in 2019, the company made $20 million, okay? That would be a pretty decent earnings, decent revenue, but in 2020, they dropped from 20 million to 5, okay? Which they got through it. It was rough, but they got through it, okay? They laid off employees. It was just terrible. But in 2021, things got back to normal, and they made $20 million again, okay? A lot of people would like to say, well, their share price should be $62. Now, that may make sense at first, but to get through 2020, that company had to take on debt, and debt overall hurts a company. Now, when a company takes on too much long-term debt, the company has a very hard time to recover. Now, if we look at multiple examples of this, is Ford. Ford has around $175 billion in long-term debt, which is terrible, and the company isn't doing very well. Yes, we did have an almost full recovery. We had a breakout of the 200 moving average line, and all that's good, but realistically, where is this company going to go? If we look at the past 3-year performance, on a downward trend. So in the hindsight, in the past year, it looks great, but if you look at it as a whole, it doesn't look very good. And that's one thing I actually want to talk to you guys about. You know, when we have all these companies start to come out with their debt, it's going to overall ruin the company. But I do think Delta Airlines is doing probably the best airline stock out there. You know, if we look at AAL, which is American Airlines already had a downward trend, and they were burning through cash all the way in here. So I think they're going to have an extremely hard time to recover. So obviously, with investing in airlines, yes, there's opportunity, but you do have to do your research, and I do think the best one would be Delta Air, because the company was doing pretty good before, fell, and is slowly getting bought up. Now, where do I see it coming in contact with these highs? When do I see it? I think it's going to be quite some time. I think by mid next year, we'll get a hit of this 200 moving average line and really see what happens. You know, really like to use it as support. And there has been previous history of old support turning into new resistance. So it's something to be aware of, that we could still hit this $45 mark and get sell-off. But overall, I think it's going to take around a year and a half to get up to these moving average lines. Now, moving on to Carnival Cruise. Carnival Cruise was one of the stocks that got hit pretty hard. Now, looking at this chart, the chart already had a downward trend, and obviously the company was doing not that good, but they weren't doing this bad, obviously. The company did fall an ungodly amount from the highs, fell around 88%, which is obviously a lot. And getting back to that saying, you know, if the company starts to make money like they did in 2019, Carnival Cruise is taking on a ton of debt right now, and it's just a company I would stay away from. You know, I do think there's probably some opportunity with them, but overall, I just think there's better opportunity somewhere else. I would rather see you guys invest in a high quality stock that is going to be paying you dividends, is going to be growing, or, you know, Carnival Cruise, that we don't know what's going to happen. They cut their dividend. They're burning through cash. You know, they laid off employees. It's just something to be aware of, is debt and all the fundamentals that these companies are going to have to get through. this year. So obviously, with that being said, I think, yes, there's still opportunity with Delta Air, but a lot of them you just have to ignore and not even really look at it, guys. But let's talk about my top stocks for next week here. All right, so starting off with GD, this is going to be one of my top buy stocks. Now, yes, we do have a downward trend here, but let's go ahead and pull up this 180-day chart here. Now, do you see how we had this fall to this overall support? I think we're going to get some buying pressure, just like we started getting right in here, all the way going back up to this resistance. So I do think there's a little move there, from 140 to 144, setting stops at, 135. I think it would be a decent trade, but it's just something to be aware of, and there's an opportunity there. Another stock that I want to talk about is ticker symbol SHW. This is Sherwin-Williams here. It's coming in contact with this 200 moving average line very shortly. And you guys can see every time it did come in contact, we got buying pressure, buying pressure, buying pressure. So now with it coming in contact in here, I think that we could get some buying pressure, from 667 all the way to about $700, setting stops at around 650. So you're risking $10 to make upwards of, $80 or $90 per share. This is Synchrony Bank, but overall, this actually stock is a good long-term investment here. We do have an upward trend coming in contact with this 200 moving average line. Obviously, would have a better long opportunity. I don't know why I said short, but better long opportunity to come back up to those highs here. So obviously, those were my top stocks on watch. I hope you guys got something in value out of this video. But we'll see you guys tomorrow in another episode. Remember to stay happy, stay positive, and overall stay safe out there. We'll see you tomorrow. Take care.